Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Let's talk about the Coverstone dreams and where are we today? I mean, specifically, in relation to the Coverstone dreams, where are we today? Means what has been prophesied or warned and what has possibly been softened or delayed, and hopefully what has been prayed away, and then unfortunately what is still coming. Okay, let's start with where it all started. Back in December 2019, Coverstone had the first dream, and he was shown that there was things happening in March like the COVID. Then in June, he saw that there was riots. Well, that got the attention of the nation. As a matter of fact, the thing that has got the attention about the Coverstone dreams, rather than many other dreams that a lot of people have, is Coverstone gets calendar dreams. This specific thing is coming in this specific month. Now, you have to understand, God is long-suffering, not willing that any should perish, but all should come to the saving knowledge of Jesus Christ. That's the point of modern prophecies. God is not trying to just say, hey, I'm warning you, this is coming. He's trying to say, hey, I'm warning you, this is in the road that you're walking, and if you don't change, you don't turn direction, you don't pray, you don't do something to stop it, this is what's coming for you. And I think you and I have done our very dead level best to stop it. That's the point. Then I heard the words, brace yourself, brace yourself. Then his next dream was talking about no coins. Specifically, it said, prepare for hyperinflation, just change $2. Oh, by the way, $1 and $5 bills are going to be following soon, meaning that they're going to remove the change from the circulation, and then $1 bills and $5 bills. Now, that was supposed to happen several months ago, but it hasn't happened yet. So maybe that's good news, and that's the point of this broadcast. I'm trying to say that, yes, we have prayed away some of these. I mean, I would hate to think the prayers of, Coverstone says some 20,000 churches were praying across the nation that he knew of in the month of September. I'd hate to think that all of their prayers just fell to the ground. I don't believe that happened. I believe that a lot of our prayers have prayed a lot of this away, and we're praying that we get a softening and a delay of what we can't pray away, a softening and a delay of what we can't pray away. Then June 22 of 2020, in another dream, he said, I saw the finger underlined November 3 times, but instead of tapping it, I saw the fist ball up and hit the calendar for November. So this is part of the description of the prophecy that was to come in November. You're going to see that some of this has not come, at least not yet. And that's not making him a false prophet. That means that our prayers, brothers and sisters, have worked to some degree. He says, I saw even more intense chaos. Well, we haven't seen that. Armed protesters fighting in the streets, people hitting another, gunfire, constant gunfire, people hiding in their homes and lights out and guns in their hands. Haven't seen that. So that's good. That means some of our prayers were answered. I saw businesses shuttered, schools closed, cobwebs hanging them. Nope, hadn't happened. Again, our prayers are answered. Government. He says, I saw a contested election. Okay, that has come. I saw Capitol surrounded, outrageous demands. I saw no one in the Oval Office. I saw no one moving around. I was shown inside the Oval Office, curtains pulled, no one was seated at the Resolute desk. Well, that has not happened yet. But I can certainly see where Trump might say, okay, well, I'm just going to go ahead and get out of the White House until we get all of this election thing all settled, until we really know who has won the election. I can see that happening here in the next few weeks. Then he also saw stacks of briefcases on a long conference table, senators handling folded, sealed, clasp envelopes. Don't know what that is. That probably, at least based upon the prophecies we know of up at this point, is probably the sealed indictments. Now, at this point, nothing has been done with them. However, you would think that something has to get done pretty soon because the Electoral College votes for the president, my understanding is December 15th. So all of this election stuff has got to be concluded by then. So I would expect in the next week or 2, 3 on the outside, we would see some kind of mass arrests start. He was also told roundups. I saw people being rounded up, Chinese and Russian soldiers on the ground, Russia's soldiers telling the Chinese soldiers to go and pick up people here, round these people up. Now, we're afraid that that might be the bad guys rounding up the good guys, but on the other hand, I believe it's going to be the good guys rounding up the bad guys. I think that Donald Trump is about to invoke the Insurrection Act of 1807. We talked about that, so I'll move on. That hasn't happened, at least not yet. But I'm going to say on that one, give it a couple of weeks, because if Trump is announced as the true winner, that's going to cause problems. But that's not going to cause the major problems. When they start arresting people in high places, I'm talking about people that everybody know, and it is a shock. Some of these people that will be arrested, when they start getting arrested, oh man, oh man, oh man, the devil is going to be really mad because he has been found out and arrested. Oh. All right, now, so in line, next thing that happened was July 10th. Then Coverstone comes along with this dream. He is warned that we do need to hold a solemn September assembly. There needs to be prayers, aggressive prayers, warfare in the heavens, believers holding each other up, standing without any division. That's why we had the solemn September and October assemblies specifically. We're gathering under one name, Jesus, to do one thing, pray for America. We had 450 people at the meeting in Plano, and then we had about 160 some odd people in Topeka, Kansas. And that's not only to count all of the other some 20,000 churches Coverstone said had emailed him and were praying. So that's great. I'm very happy. So he says that he saw the heavens alive, same kind of battle happening the last few days of September, and he saw that we stood victorious together, and I believe, brothers and sisters, we did. Coverstone and I talked, and I do believe that we have softened and delayed and prayed away some of these warnings, but we both agree we have not prayed away all of them. We don't know to what degree our prayers have changed these prophecies, but that is the point. The point is not to sit here and say, oh, I'm going to write that down. I'm going to write that down. And if that doesn't come to pass, I'm going to call him a false prophet. If you do that, then you're just saying, I don't understand the heart of God. If you say that, you don't understand that the whole point of sending Jonah into a little fish ride was to get his attention and go do what God told him to do. Go tell Nineveh in 40 days, I'm going to destroy it. He didn't say in 40 days, I'll destroy it if they don't repent. He just said, go tell them 40 days, I'm going to destroy it. Well, Jonah knew the heart of God. He knew he wasn't going to do it, and he didn't want to go do it. So he took a little ride in the fish, got his attention, decided he'd go do what he was told to do. And same thing with Coverstone, except Coverstone doesn't want to take a ride in the fish. He decides he's going to go ahead and speak what God tells him to speak, and he did, and he has made a major change. Matter of fact, you may one day look back and say Coverstone is one of, if not the greatest prophet to ever be sent to America. Because right now I would say Coverstone has done more to save America, to soften and delay the judgment that God thought to bring this nation than probably anybody else out there. Now let's go to the next one, July 25th, 2020. So Coverstone was shown a post office shutdown. Didn't happen, at least not yet. And you would have thought that if that was going to happen, it would have happened on, about, or around associated with the election. So since the election's over and there hadn't been a post office shutdown, I'm going to say I think we probably prayed that away. Great. Good news. Good news, good news, good news. Now let's go on to the next one, August 10th. I call it people like firecrackers. This is where he saw the finger pointing to the second and to the third week of October and circling October 31st and holding it there. He saw a rock fly out of the sky, which we had initially thought might be that meteor, but now we think not, because we haven't seen any kind of a movement about Israel giving the Palestinians a state. So the rock flying out of the sky and hitting a large pond, causing ripples, was probably Amy Coney Barrett getting confirmed as the Supreme Court Justice against the wishes of the Dems. President Trump said the words, their heads were exploding, which was wording right out of Coverstone's dream, as the president and the White House are following his dreams. He said, and part of this, by the way, this next thing I'm going to read, apparently has... October at this point has already passed. This did not happen. So we know that some of our prayers have prayed this stuff away. He said, I saw protests taking place in the month of October intensified. Didn't happen. Peaceful protesters, bystanders came part of the violent protest. Then the violent protesters attacked and assaulted the peaceful protesters. If you're not doing this or that, you're not one of us. They began to assault and kill the peaceful protesters. Haven't seen that. That's good. I'm telling you, our prayers are working, brothers and sisters. Then I saw him turn to the elderly people, attacking elderly people, Americans that hold the Constitution and the flag dear. Didn't happen. Then I saw $100 bill the size of a flag hanging on a flagpole, burning one corner, and it lowered down, and he saw 2/3 of it burn away. Hadn't happened. I'm telling you, our prayers have prayed a lot of this away. I saw 2,000 small churches and small groups of people kneeling praying during the month of September. So again, don't think our prayers did nothing. Don't think they fell to the ground. They have done a lot. Now let's go on. He also saw puffed up pastors and prophets wearing expensive suits. These were the ones that were the prosperity preachers, preaching prosperity, health, wealth, only good things. As they spoke, the words began to get slurred and fall to the ground, and soon they were standing completely naked. I'm skipping part of it here. When they landed on the ground, they bit through the tongues, pieces of the tongues went flying, and all of that. We've not seen any kind of a real judgment come to the church yet, anyway. So it may be that part of that we prayed away. Now this part, boy, I saw clowns. Now we believe that clowns are, how do I say this? How do I say this to communicate without saying the words? We're talking about, I know what. Here, let's say it this way. Intelligence agencies, people in high places with the power to put in computer programs and to switch votes and to influence the election. Let's put it that way. He said, that's the clowns. I saw clowns in suits like circus clowns pouring buckets of oil and grease on the ground in front of the election venues, doing everything possible to keep people from voting. Well, that wasn't keeping them out of the voting booth. That was changing their voting, changing their votes. And a lot of that had to do with the whole election thing. Then I saw a billboard saying Passover 2021. Big things are coming for the world, repeating, big things are coming from the world. Then I saw the white figure appear and say, don't stop bracing, for the storm will not pass until I stop the storm. Meaning, I believe it's saying that the storm will stop or have stopped by Passover 2021, which is March 27th, which is in about another 4 months from now, which is why I say you need to ask yourself, if the electricity were to be off for 4 months and for some other reason you could not leave your home, are you prepared? Have you answered those questions? Are you to the point to where you can survive if you were told you cannot leave your home? You cannot leave your home. And I believe it's saying big things are coming for the world. I think those are good things, but I also think those are bad things. You see, as the judgment hits, so will my miracles. I believe Coverstone said miracles are going to start in November. Well, here we are now halfway through November. We haven't seen the big miracles start yet, but then we haven't seen the judgment start yet. But we may very well see that this next week, my brothers and sisters. He goes on to say, so brace yourselves and don't look back. Now, in the next dream here, or two, he's going to tell us what brace is. It's basically being protected. Brace means being protected, protecting yourself, and also God is going to protect us. Then we go to the next one, August 17th, 2020. He says, I saw the calendar month of November. So this specifically is what he was told would come in November unless we prayed. I saw the finger appear and circle November 3rd continuously in a clockwise direction. Then it changed counterclockwise. I believe that is the changing of the system, changing from the old system where the devil is in charge, changing to the new system where miracles are about to hit, where God is about to have a sweeping tsunami bringing souls into his kingdom. I believe it started on about or around November 3rd. And of course, I don't think it's an accident. The November 11th is 400 years since the Mayflower Compact, and somebody sent me an email, said actually it's November 21st. So we're still in the ballpark. That's the point I'm trying to say. Suddenly, it changed to counterclockwise. I saw a person with a sign that read, "The obvious winner is not so obvious." There were headlines everywhere that read, "Trump's victory challenged." Well, that hasn't happened yet, but I believe it's going to come. In other words, this whole election thing, in my opinion, is a big trap. I think that Trump set a trap for the devil and he stepped right in it, kind of like Jesus set a trap for the devil by dying on the cross, and he did exactly what he was expected to do. He killed the Lord of glory, and thus he set all of the captives free. That's what's about to happen here. So they decided that they were going to cheat and steal the election from Trump, and what they did was set in a trap. And that's the rest of the dream, which I'll summarize this way. H.C. held a Roman gladius knife to the left side of Trump's neck. She dropped the knife, stepped into the trap, that's, I believe, the election trap, and the president ran off quickly. I saw the church. There was a separation line with no middle ground left on the sides to have been taken. There was fire on the altars and the churches around the nation. Again, as the judgment hits, so will my miracles. Fire moved on the heads of people who had been praying. That's us. And above the heads of many people in the church. I saw an actual question mark symbol above their heads. They appeared very confused by what they were seeing in the world and in the church. Those are the Christians that don't know anything about Bible prophecy, don't want to hear anything about Bible prophecy or the end times or speaking in tongues or the power of God or none of that stuff. Their God is somebody that they just go up and sit in a pew and they endure a 20-minute sermon and then they go out to eat. And those are the ones that are going to be very confused. He goes on to say, those who refuse to get ready, I believe that ready is also a physical ready, but most important, it's a spiritual ready. I'm going to say it's also, I think, an emotional ready. In other words, we've got to get to the point to where, look, when suitcase nukes go off, even though we are praying drastically and daily and fervently against them, okay, but if they do go off, and by the way, if they go off, they went off through my prayers, and I believe through your prayers too, because I'm doing everything I can to pray away those suitcase nukes. But if they do go off, we're prepared. I mean, it's not going to be a shock. Everybody else can be running like the sky's falling. We're going to be able to say, come here, let me explain what happened. We knew this was coming. You what? Yes, we knew this was coming. Let me explain. Some won't listen. We understand that, but a lot of people will. Those who refuse to get ready will be wanting in the end. So brace yourself and tell others that I have warned them to brace themselves, for they are about to see even more shocking things. I think the shocking things, I don't think we're going to get through November before we see some shocking things. Shocking like arrests, big name arrests over corruption, sex trafficking, also arrests over the election. Yep, they stepped into a trap and Trump has caught them. Then let's go to the next Coverstone dream. August 24th. And this is as I saw a calendar turn to the month of November. So we're still in November. Had shadows flickering all over it. I saw a light in the sky, very bright, then darkness. What's the light in the sky? Very light, very bright, and then darkness. That would be a suitcase nuke. That is a 1 kiloton suitcase nuke that turns about a 10 square block, of course, radius into molten concrete and metal. And then it, of course, sends out an EMP pulse, it sends out heat, and does all sorts of bad things. But one of the biggest things it does is kills all the computer chips, and also it puts out a dust finer than powder, and it just blows and goes every place. It goes way up into the atmosphere, and it carries for miles and miles and miles in whatever direction the wind is blowing. And it settles on just about everything, all the water, all of the food, all of the cars. So you got radioactive dust just everywhere. It's a mess, but you cannot stop it from absorbing into your skin. That's why you want to have potassium iodate pills. Yes, Prophecy Club has them. And you have one container of pills per person. You just take a couple of pills every day. It floods your thyroid with good iodine. So even though you're absorbing this bad iodine from the radiation, it doesn't kill you. It doesn't kill your thyroid. It doesn't kill you. It's a cheap fix. What, $25 a bottle? $25 to save your life? prophecyclub.com. Okay, so let's continue. So he sees a bright light, then darkness, then a haze and a fog all over. Emergency shelters. Snow on the ground, but it wasn't snow. It was this dirty, gray, almost like ash. Well, it wasn't almost like ash. It was. It's fallout. That's what it was. There were people huddled together, shivering, individuals on cots, suitcases all over the place, desperate looks on the faces of people, but there was encouragers in the crowds. That's us, all wearing crosses, stood out emotionally from everyone else because they had hope. And I'm going to say this. They not only had hope, but they had answers, and they also had the power of the Holy Spirit, and they were walking in sevenfold miracles, brothers and sisters. And I believe there's a high probability, unless we pray it away, and we're doing everything we can to pray it away, but there's a high probability if we don't pray enough, we'll see those suitcase nukes before the end of the month. That's a very brave statement to make, but I'm just reporting on the prophecies. This is what the prophecies are saying. Then the white figure appeared and said, "Remain braced. As this calm, there's a calm after suitcase nukes go off? That's what it's saying. Remain braced as this calm comes before a gathering storm that recovery will have a hard time finding. Remain braced as this calm comes before a gathering storm that recovery will have a hard time finding." It repeats itself. Several places in here it repeats itself because in the mouth of two or three witnesses let a thing be established. When it repeats itself like that, it's saying you can count on this. Ready or not, it's coming. Finally, we get to August 28th. Now, this particular calendar is for December through January. I saw long food lines, people standing, waiting in line, not in cars. Why weren't they in cars? Because the cars don't start. Why? Because the suitcase nukes sent out an EMP pulse and fried the computer chips in all of the cars. I saw ships in both ports, east and west, sitting idle, nothing moving at sea, on the globe, any place. I saw a headline that said Baltic Dry Index is dead, meaning nothing is moving across the oceans. That means this nation, this world, is not going to recover from that anytime soon. It will take years for us to recover. If we probably won't ever. And that's from the suitcase nukes. In my opinion, the most important thing we must be praying against is those suitcase nukes, my brothers and sisters. We got to pray against them. Skipping down, I saw shopping malls converted into shelters, people in cots, food outreach, homeless shelters, people inside their homes looking out for fear, guns in their hands. I saw this dark gray snow stuff on the road everywhere. It wasn't pure white snow, like a fresh snowfall. No, it was nuclear fallout, okay? I saw headlines reading, "Nationwide outages plague the Southwest." Another headline said, "Americans don't know who to blame for the darkness." Well, why? Because the suitcase nukes were smuggled into America back in the mid-'90s. Okay, they've been sitting there for 20, 25 years, and now they pull them out, dust them off, fire them up, set them off, and nobody knows. I tell you who set them off. It was the international bankers. It's the people that cheated in the election. It's the people after Trump. It's the people that Trump is after. Those are the people that want to rule the world, and it's not a nation. These are the people above president, above nation. They think they rule the world, and unfortunately they have for thousands of years. And just like they told Benjamin Fulford, we will rule it or we will destroy it. Well, when they see they've lost rule, when they see that Trump has won, when they see Trump start arresting a whole bunch of people, they know it's over. So they go ahead and set off the suitcase nukes. Let me say it again. They know it's over. They see Trump win. They see Trump start arresting people. They know it's over. They know they're going to be arrested. They know that they've done child sacrifice. They know that they've done this stuff, sex trafficking, drugs, who knows what they've done. They know what they've done. And so they know they're not going to get away. And so they say, all right, well, if we can't rule it, we're just going to blow it up. We're going to destroy it. So they set off the suitcase nukes. That's where we're going. That's what the prophecies say is going to happen in November. Did I say that? No, I don't know. But I'm reporting to you what the prophecies say. That is, let me say it again, that is the interpretation of the prophecies. That is an accurate interpretation. I'm asking everybody to pray against it. I want to get to the end of 2020, and no suitcase nuke went off. But I'm telling you, we got to pray. Let's move on, running out of time. Then he saw the dream about the silver line. Essentially, it's saying, Christians, you need to fight. Time to engage. Then, October 20th, he said, a house divided shall not stand. The angel spoke to him and said, a house divided against itself shall not stand. He said, I saw what looked like an atlas with interstate lines all over the nation, which is the election, in my opinion. The flashing bits of information going all into Washington, D.C. This is the voting and the changing of the voting, all of this. I saw red flashes reach Philadelphia, and that is kind of the center of the hub of the whole election. Everything is kind of hanging on Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in general, Philadelphia in specific. And it's all having to do with, basically it's saying that's our liberty. Either we win Pennsylvania and Philadelphia, either we get Trump to be victorious there, or we're going to lose our nation. That's essentially what it's saying. Data headed for Washington, D.C., the city had like octopus arms fighting to disconnect the data lines from entering the city. Means votes were being deleted, votes were being changed. There were people in suits and ties trying to pull its connections out of the Capitol building. In other words, they're trying to stop the election. They're trying to see that Trump does not win. Finally, it blew up and the building cracked in half, and issues of huge smoke pillared out, and it spelled the word, look at this, discovery. See, that's what's about to happen. The whole world is about to discover that the Dems cheated on the election. It wasn't just that they are the evil behind things like drugs, human sacrifice. I don't even want to say it. So filthy. Filthy. These people are evil beyond belief. It makes us want to go wash our mouth out with soap, even saying the filth that they have done. I saw a man standing in the place where the president gives the State of the Union address. He tapped the microphone 3 times and stated in a loud voice, "A house divided against itself shall not stand." Then the next dream is talking about the earthquake. Stay braced, but don't breathe yet. This is the good news. The angel gets to the end there and he says, stay braced, but don't breathe yet. My interpretation of what he's saying is, church, you're going to make it through this. It's going to be good on the other end. It's going to be a storm for a while, just like Dimitri told Michael Boldea, a storm's coming, my boy, and it's going to be a bad one. The storm is about to hit. Let me say it again. The storm is about to hit. The prophecies say, not me. God has not spoken to me about this. I can't say, thus saith the Lord, on any of this. This is not from me. This is what the prophets say. The prophets say the storm hits in November. Say it again. Storm hits in November. But we can come through the storm, but we're going to get through it on our knees, fasting and praying, brothers and sisters. Don't give up hope. Now's the time for us to fast and pray like we've never fasted and prayed in our whole lives. And as a result, we're going to see signs, wonders, and miracles like no one, going back to Adam and Eve, has ever seen. God has promised it. Now's the time for us to hold the wall. Now's the time for us to hold the fort, toe the line, stand and fight. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal. They're not painting signs. They're not writing filthy words on the buildings. They're falling to our knees, fasting and praying before our God. That's the reason the devil will not get the victory over America, because you and I are going to fast and we're going to pray during this time. So as the storm hits, keep your head up and keep your fasting and your prayers going. Keep your prayers going. When a nuclear device goes off, it produces an EMP, an electromagnetic pulse, and it fries every computer chip unless they're protected. The good news is EMPshield.com has devices a military testing facility says are 100% accurate to protect against EMP, solar flares, lightning, power surges, backed by a 10-year warranty and a $25,000 insurance policy. And they come with simple installation instructions for home, vehicles, RV, and electric generators. You can have electricity in a blackout. EMPshield.com. Use the promo code PROPHECY for a $50 gift card. This helps Prophecy Club. That's EMPshield.com. Promo code PROPHECY for a $50 gift card. EMPshield.com. EMPshield.com. October 7th, 2020, Prophet Andre Bronkhorst prophesied that God will give us a new church building because he's about to send us a lot of people. He said, "Feed my lambs." This will allow us to have miracle crusades, School of the Prophets, Bible prophecy seminars, deliverance meetings, and a lot more. Realtors tell us we're probably talking between $2 and $3 million for the building we need. If your heart is with us and God has blessed you, we could certainly use your help. The Spirit of Prophecy Church and Prophecy Club is in need of a new home. If you can help, go to prophecyclub.com, click on the Building Forward link, and donate to help us get a new building. Click like, share, and subscribe.